Welcome to 5 Great Villain Songs, where we talk about one villain song from each of the 5 categories: non-Disney movies, theater, TV shows, video games, and fan-made. These are not ordered in any way and will release a volume every month. Feel free to let me know what other songs you want me to talk about in a future volume. In the meantime, enjoy the show. Who's bad? Barbie is an interesting movie in that it's pro-woman and pro-men. While campy as all get out, it brings the energy of an Oscar-wild satire and takes a genuine look at the struggles both genders face. Historically, treatment of women hasn't been ideal, and we've taken steps to fix that. Unfortunately, in some areas we've overcorrected and created a large number of angry, disaffected, father-wounded young men desperately longing for community in a world that sees them as expendable and taught them to despise their race, their culture, and, well, their sex. Ken, living his whole life being looked down on by Barbie, found a new calling when he followed her into the real world and observed just how much more status men have compared to where he came from. And yeah, he completely misses the context because he's just so excited by the thought of finally breaking out of his living norms. He could have just brought in what he learned back home and made positive changes without causing trouble, but instead he went overboard and took over the Barbie's world as a whole, even changing the products sold IRL. But the Kens aren't actively malicious. When Team Barbie all work together to distract them into a cockfight, we get their melodious plea on full display. 'Cause I'm just Ken, anywhere else I be taken. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility? What technically makes this a villain song is that, sure, Ken's hurt and desperate for respect, but he's lashing out unproductively. And like many men today, it's hard not to feel sorry for these people, especially because when they're whipped into a frenzy like this, it's easy for people to take advantage of them. All they want is to be respected for who they are and what they wish to be. This song has become an anthem for these kinds of men. It gives their struggles a voice. Yeah, tell me this exchange doesn't sound familiar.
Men should be more sensitive and talk about their feelings.
I'm really sad and insecure.
Ew, I changed my mind. That's so unattractive. Just
holding the opposite gender under constraint to stay comfortable within an established social norm, or desperately looking to make changes to be validated after a lifetime of being told no, are both universal situations everyone can relate to at some point in their lives, regardless of gender. And as the movie shows, sometimes it takes a gentle boop to the nose for us to understand how the other actually felt. In all the hapless struggling and scuffling the Kens have between each other, they all finally come together, getting the validation and respect they've been yearning for from each other. My name's Kate, and so am I. Put that manly head in mine. For an emotion-driven song, I'm Just Ken does have a backbone to it thanks to solid performances and the story holding both sides of the argument accountable. It doesn't feel like it's leaning too much on the feeliness to excuse being messy, unlike some songs. Some people take issue with Ken being villainized over this, but see, putting Ken in this spotlight doesn't make him someone we're supposed to dislike or even disagree with. It makes him someone important. And frankly, it's a pretty smart take considering how much both guys and girls love sympathizing with tragic bad boys. Neither side can dismiss the weight of his character. Besides, it's not like he was physically hurting Barbie, so he's not being too toxic about it either. Assuming we don't see what he's like in a COD lobby. Ugh. If you look outside the angry mob shouting a buttload of nothing about the harmful implications of the movie, the actual fans, both genders alike, did find positive enjoyment and connection with what was presented. Heck, the fact that this song gets a lot of remixes and covers all across the internet, spanning across many different niches, is proof of its resonant message. Ah, Heather and Heather. And Heather, everyone's favorite 1980s prerequisite to Mean Girls, Heathers has almost as many antagonistic roles as heroic, debatably more for the sake of making a point. Aside from the deeply disconcerting Jason Dean, more on him another day, the primary villains are the titular Heathers themselves. You wouldn't think you could sympathize with the kinds of girls that thrive off of bullying, body shaming, and overall dehumanizing power trips, but it's amazing what can happen under enough surface pressure. After the characteristically unexpected deaths of high school apex predators Heather Chandler, Kurt Kelly, and Ram Sweeney were masked by JD, Westerberg High School decides to have a collective intervention to talk about their feelings so that unfortunate trend will ideally come to an end. Then when one of our solid Teflon queens steps forward and begins to reveal her fragility...
I float in a boat in a raging black ocean.
Alright, this might not seem like a villain song per se, but hear me out when I say that a depressing and vulnerable piece doesn't distract from the villainy of a given character. We know what Heather M has said and probably done in her life. She is not a kind person by default. She never canonically apologizes for what she said or done, but yikes, girl, are you seeing someone for this? Heather McNamara reveals how much her status has harmed her mental health, and also how being a Heather has held the sharpened knife of perfectionism a little too close to her throat. Her whole life feels like it's on the edge, as if the only thing keeping her afloat is, well, a little lifeboat, and everyone can see the struggle. Heather McNamara has juggled the option of ending her misery this whole time from the pressure.
If I say the wrong thing, or I wear the wrong outfit, they'll throw me right over the side.
That middle section amidst the calmer verses is amazing, by the way. It's a great musical representation of the chaos she must be feeling underneath all that peer pressure. Shortly after Lifeboat ends, we get a reprise of Shine a Light by the other living Heather, Heather Duke, who is...
You don't deserve to live.
not sympathetic, to say the least. And that's a large part of what makes Heather McNamara the sympathetic villain in the Heathers trio. When the friend group breaks down and the facade falls during the hard times, suddenly her surface level value in the eyes of her peers is washed away, and she's shamed for being an emotional, normal person deep down. These kinds of songs are very risky. It is very hard to make songs or even jokes about the nasty school bullies who torture people to the point of taking their own life and still keep them nuanced, understandable, and human. By the way, they aren't sympathetic at all, but I highly recommend listening to some of the other devilish tunes from this show, such as Candy Store and Meant to Be Yours. Complete 180 from Lifeboat, but exquisite nonetheless. Keep your head up, Heather. So, Steven Universe. Like Has-Been Hotel, Steven Universe has a special kind of monopoly on musical numbers in the world of TV. Gem after gem after... But yeah, villain songs, and yeah, I'm totally not calling the intergalactic genocidal dictator sympathetic. Yeah, totally not. Okay, hear me out. We all know the almighty fascistic Diamonds were not so almighty and fascistic by the end of the movie, or heaven forbid during future. But back when we actually believed they were tyrants who weren't redeemed overnight, we had What's the Use of Feeling Blue, which gave them a glimpse of goodness for about 2 minutes. Which is how long it should have been. At this point in the story, we have yet to meet the ultimate antagonist, White Diamond, and everyone still believes that Pink Diamond is dead and was killed by rebel gems. This leaves Yellow Diamond and Blue Diamond, who both cope in very different ways, to figure out what to do while mourning.
Why would you want to be here? What do you ever
See here, that doesn't make you feel worse than you do.
And tell me, what's the use of feeling blue?
Blue Diamond is notorious for her godlike empathetic powers to force her emotions upon others. When Blue Diamond cries, there will be tears from all. I guess this translates to hanging out in Pink Diamond's former human zoo? Well, lately this has come at the expense of her abilities as a leader, as a diamond.
Where's the diamond when they need a blue? You've got to be a little blue.
Yellow Diamond, on the other hand, would rather move on and destroy everything that took Pink Diamond away, without so much as truly acknowledging her emotions at all, which are far closer to Blue Diamond's than she would like to admit.
Yes, of course we still love her, and we're always thinking of her. Don't you know I miss her?
Yellow Diamond's clear emotional denial and or aloofness clearly designates some kind of in-the-moment hierarchy above Blue Diamond. So the entire time, the two pearls serve as Yellow Diamond's backup vocals. Oh, Yellow Diamond is sung by Patty f***ing LaPome, by the way. No big deal. Honestly, one of the best parts about the song is the title itself, which tells you enough about the different approaches of both diamonds. It can be read as, what's the use of feeling blue, as in feeling blue, feeling sad, or as, what's the use of feeling, blue, as in Yellow Diamond asking Blue Diamond why her tears would be beneficial at all.
What's the use of feeling? What's the use of feeling? What's the use of feeling?
These allow for more interpretations of the song. Who do you sympathize with more? Blue Diamond, who is constantly mourning the past and is shamed for being more emotional, or Yellow Diamond, who would rather violently suppress feeling the same thing? Not that it mattered in the end anyway. Talking about not for broadcast again. Who keeps making me talk about this game anyway?
What? At least I'm not talking about Liquid Ocelot for the 80th time. Also, spoilers.
We've addressed this game's two big baddies before, and today I want to talk about Alan James's villain song titled Bring It All Down. This song appropriately plays after you get the ending in which Alan James's plan to overthrow Advance succeeds. Which, on one hand, that genocidal bitch getting assassinated was long overdue. On the other hand, Alan kills multiple innocents, and now the real masterminds behind Disrupt are gonna kill even more people in a nation that's already doomed to never reproduce.
You win some, you lose a few hundred.
After we bear witness to Alan James giving us arguably the worst possible outcome of the game, we are subjected to his villain song. And it's like if Muse and Rage Against the Machine had a Daft Punk baby who went to Pink Floyd preschool. From the moment the song starts, these lines hit hard.
I wake up tired, broken and wired, so uninspired by all I see. You speak your truth. Myopic youth, crass and uncouth with all you see.
These lyrics reflect Alan James's mindset as he goes about his plan to bring down Advance's corrupt government. To some, the country is doing better than ever under Advance's rule. But Alan sees how this blind adherence and overwhelming societal pressure to conform are slowly suffocating the nation.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Alan's desire to change things seems noble at first, but look at the lyrics again. The Speak Your Truth line critiques self-righteous and naive my truths that ignore nuance and suggest shallow understanding and an inability to engage meaningfully with the complexities of life. Advance's supporters are guilty of this, but unbeknownst to Alan James, so is he. Disrupt's supporters are also perfectly comfortable with Alan's simple narratives that keep them docile and easily manipulated by the idea that they're on the correct side.
Life in between, two dark extremes. They promise dreams and then they take you apart.
Throughout the game, the player is caught between two bad or even false choices, mirroring modern political or ideological polarization. The promised dreams that take you apart underline a critique of broken systems that exploit hope, like both Advance and Disrupt. We see Alan grappling with his role in Advance's system, one which he despises, struggling between rebellion and detachment before coming to the conclusion that there's only one option.
Bring it all down. Just bring it all down. Yeah, just bring it all down. Bring it all down. Bring it all down.
And bring it all down, Alan James does. but at what cost? Homes and buildings have been destroyed, innocent people's lives are lost, and 4 world leaders are now in complete control. And the only thing on television now is...
Whoa! It's the bonk alarm!
I mean, the game is all about drawing your own conclusions, so, y'all can talk this one out amongst yourselves in the comics, because... what the fuck?
Now watch us play our part. Now watch us dance and sing. Don't want to fall apart like kids who never seem to scream.
Anxiety, battling. Battling, anxiety. Now, imagine if our pick for the best sympathetic villain in games could sing in a more maliciously manipulative manner. Oh wait, we don't have to.
Just one more push, just one more press, just one more thing to change.
Inside Out 2 is arguably as good, maybe better than the first, and we all know who to thank. Making a villain out of micromanagement and people-pleasing probably hit a little closer to home than it needed to, but bravo, writers, bravo. And with writing, from the genius of some of the finest names in fan music comes one of the most fitting works of fictional fiction we've ever heard. Good enough. The music is chaotic, in a good way. Sometimes intense instrumentals or layers of music are overwhelming, but, you know, you're not gonna believe whose song this is. Fitting, isn't it? Those key changes are yummy and really add to Anxiety's case of the misguided zoomies. The melody itself is extremely catchy and from a music theory perspective, deceptively simple, and made all the better when Anxiety's emotional cronies sing along. And the lyrics, the double entendres.
Give a way to keep her climbing up when she's on or off the ice. We've got all night to plan ahead, so let Riley go to bed.
It's amazing how a hockey joke and a moderately menacing bedtime salutation can really emphasize Anxiety's desire, insatiable need for complete control. Something in the song really itches my brain is when the music slows down and gradually accelerates after Riley says, "I'm not good enough," and Anxiety says, "I've got it under control," but then the speeding song clearly says otherwise. Of course, Anxiety is a villain when she's there trapping and banishing Riley's embodiment of happiness because I guess that's not good enough. And when her possessive nature is obviously ruining Riley in the greater scheme of things. It really hurts in all the right ways to hear her say things like,
Don't worry, there's nothing problematic with it.
Funny how caring in all the wrong ways circles back to power-hungry antagonism. Also, my writer tells me that Kitten C's vocal technique is perfect for this character and this song. Here's the thing about being Anxiety's kind of people-pleaser. She wants to play it all off, have Riley pretend she doesn't care at all, when in fact, she cares far too much. Anxiety often stems from a fear of loss, the potential of losing something valuable, whether it's a relationship, an opportunity, or a lifestyle. This fear propels our minds into a future of uncertainties, pulling us away from the things that normally kept us stable. You might notice that the kinds of people who often aren't anxious about their lives are most often content with what they have. The great mitigator of anxiety, it's actually thankfulness or gratitude. And we see this here in the song. We let our wants for things we don't have or even do have consume us.
I want that and I want this. We just want to fit in with the clique. We want to be good enough. Oh, we just want to be good enough. Don't want to be turning red. We'd rather just be aloof instead. We want to be good enough. Oh, we gotta be good enough.
Anxiety often projects into an uncertain future. Thankfulness, by contrast, anchors individuals in the past and present, appreciating what exists and how you got here instead of agonizing about what might happen. It reduces the mental spiral of what ifs that anxiety thrives on. Oh yeah, and when we said that she cares far too much, it's not Riley. Not completely. Anxiety is projecting her own insecurities onto everyone. She wants to be good enough for Riley, but when things don't go according to plan, she is the one who freaks out and spirals. Now, who is it that wants to be good enough again? Poor teenagers, man. Hey everyone, this is Josh. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video around. Please check out my other social media like my Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Check out my other channels such as Joshua Burner for reactions and other stuff, Dragon Fighter Gaming for tabletop, and Bob Equestria for cartoons. Consider checking below the video and donating to my Patreon, Streamlabs for my merchandise, or becoming a YouTube member. Thanks for watching.